It started with a journal. I found it while cleaning out the attic of the old house I'd just inherited. The place had been in my family for 3 generations, but no one had lived in it for years. My uncle had passed unexpectedly, and with no kids of his own, it landed in my lap. Dust thick on every surface, old boxes, spider webs, you know, horror movie stuff. But what caught my attention was the book. It sat alone on a shelf, untouched by dust, its leather cover aged but strangely preserved. No title on the front, just a single name embossed in faded gold leaf. Nathan Blake, my name. I didn't own this journal. I'd never seen it before. I flipped it open. The first page simply read, "You started reading this at 11:43 p.m. I glanced at my phone. 11:43 p.m. I closed the book, and I didn't sleep. Next day, I told myself it was a coincidence. A prank, maybe, but who would go through all the trouble of planting a custom journal in a sealed attic just to mess with me? Curiosity won. That night, I opened it again. There were 3 new pages, all filled with handwritten entries. Neat, slanted, familiar even. The handwriting looked like mine. You skipped breakfast and spilled coffee on your shirt while trying to finish the chapter you hate. You walk to the bookstore. You'll buy something you won't read, but the clerk will smile at you anyway. You'll think about asking her name, but won't. You'll come home around 7:12 p.m. and check this journal again. Then you'll sit at your laptop and write, but not what you intended to. Everything it said happened, down to the time I got home, down to the smile from the bookstore clerk. The words weren't just describing me, they were predicting me. Over the next few days, I became obsessed. Each night, new pages would appear, always describing events that would unfold the next day. Sometimes mundane, sometimes deeply specific, sometimes private. You'll lie and say you've been writing, but you haven't. You haven't written anything real in months. You'll reread your ex's last message. You'll hover over the type A message box. You won't send anything. I never told anyone about the journal. Would you? Would you risk someone taking it away? It was terrifying, yes, but also addictive. The journal knew me, and worse, it understood me. On the 8th night, the tone changed. The pages described an encounter. A man in a gray hoodie, standing across the street. No face, just a dark blur where his features should be. I didn't believe it until I saw him that next evening exactly where the journal said he'd be. Still, silent, watching. I called out to him. He didn't move. And when I blinked, he was gone. Night 9, the book described my dreams. You walk through a hallway of doors, all painted black. Behind each one, someone is whispering your name. Except for the last. The last one will be open. Something will be waiting. That night, I dreamed exactly that. The last door creaked open on its own. I didn't go through. When I woke up, there were fingerprints on the journal's last page. They weren't mine. The 10th night started with a message written in red ink instead of black. Just one line, "Stop reading." I didn't. The rest of the entry detailed my day again, except this time I noticed the events were off, slightly wrong, like it wasn't describing my choices anymore. You'll decide to walk into the woods behind the house. I had no intention of doing that. But at 3 p.m. the next day, I found myself standing at the tree line. I didn't remember deciding to walk there. I just ended up doing it. That's when I knew something else had taken the wheel. On night 11, the journal only had one sentence: "You die at midnight." There were still blank pages behind it. I waited, sat on my couch with every light on, journal closed beside me. I watched the time tick past. 11 o'clock. Then 11:30, 11:45. I didn't know what to expect. A heart attack? A shadow creature? The man in the hoodie again? At 11:58, I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, deliberate. But I live alone. I grabbed the journal. I don't know why. Like it could protect me. When I opened it, the next page was filled. "You'll hear him coming." You'll hold the book, thinking it matters, but it doesn't. You'll run, but the house isn't the same anymore. The stairs will lead to the attic. There's a door that wasn't there yesterday. Behind it, you'll find your ending. The footsteps reached the bottom of the stairs. I ran. Just like the page said, the front hallway bent in a direction that shouldn't have existed. The floorboards stretched, tilted, became stairs that shouldn't have been there. And at the top, a door, black, waiting. I opened it. Inside was a room with a single desk, a single chair, and a journal, identical to mine, except this one was still being written in. Right before my eyes, the words appeared slowly in red ink. "You shouldn't have come." The door slammed shut behind me. I turned. There was no knob, no way back. I've been here for days, or hours, or longer. The journal now writes constantly, without my help. You're scared. You regret opening the first page. You know what's coming next. And it keeps adding pages. Every time I reach the end, there's more. And eventually, one sentence returns again and again. The final page, rewritten, repeated, always in red. You die at midnight. The only problem is, there's no clock in here.